So you think you know Europe? Think again. One continent.
Tons of music. Okay, ready?
This is the Eurotrip.
Hello everyone, this is the third episode of the Eurotrip podcast. Today we're looking through songs 7 to 12 and semi-final 1. Two more friends with me today, both from Eurovoix. Firstly, we have Euan.
Hello.
And secondly, you would recognise her from her owl stuff. It's Emily, who's now with them.
Hiya!
Got her back for a little while at least. Without wasting any time, we're going to jump straight in with song number 7 or semi-final 1, and that is Finland, and they'll be represented by Norma John and the song Blackbird.
Who sang when he was in my bed? Who sang when my heart sang? Now you remind me of something I'll never have. So Blackbird, don't sing. Blackbird, don't sing.
They won UMK back in January. Emily, let's start with you. What are you thinking of Norma John and Blackbird for Finland this year?
I think it's such a nice ballad. It's so beautifully sung. It's so different to everything else, just because everything else is like a really powerful female solo ballad, for example, and this is just sort of like peaceful and calm. It can be described maybe as simple, but I think it's quite effective in that sense. And because of that, I guess it will stand out on the night, hopefully, because it's a really nice song. It's not my favourite, but it's inoffensive and really nice.
Okay. Ewan, what do you take away from Blackbird as an entry?
I agree a bit with Emily. Like, I do agree that the only way I could describe it is the saying that it's quite streamlined and quite efficient in what it does with so little, but it does bring out this such an effect in someone. And I do love the, for lack of a better word, simplicity of it. But however, I don't agree that I think it'll do well. I think it's just a bit too simple and dark to do well at Eurovision. I think if it was that simple but a more cheery song or heavier and dark, it could stand out a lot more, but I do quite worry that it's not going to qualify, which I'd be really disappointed at, because it's one of the best songs this year, I would say.
Yeah, I can't agree with both your points. I mean, the odds of it since it's been selected and since the semi-final's been completed, it's been hanging around the 9th to 11th spot. So it's been in the top 10 then dropping out, so it's going to be very close whether this qualifies or not, I feel. I think it's a really beautiful song, and I think the fact that it can bring out such an emotion, such a feeling of someone with, say, such a simple, music track with just like a piano is amazing. I think her voice is very strong and it's very emotional, which works. The staging in UMK was very nice, and I doubt it's really going to change. Whether this song can qualify or not, I have no idea. This is a sort of song where I can see it not qualifying, getting through, and then if it gets through, being top 10 in the final or being bottom 5. It really depends on the night and how people are feeling, I think. I feel the juries will enjoy it because her voice you can't really fault, and each performance I've seen of her has come across quite faultless. My only issue is, have they been buried by the running order, especially going after Montenegro, which is such a fun, loud, in-your-face song, and probably was staging to match it. Will the contrast work for them against them? You just kind of don't know. My only gripe with the song now is that after the piano solo, I kind of expected more to come through, either with her voice or the production, and it still stays at that one note. Just because it has that sort of say quite an extended piano solo, you expect something to come after that, and it doesn't. But like you said, Emily, not every single song needs to be a shouting ballad or something overly dramatic, and I think it's a very beautiful song with a very beautiful message done well. Whether it can qualify or not, I would love to see this in the final, but I feel like this could be the one song for that semi-final that does miss out. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but I'm not sure on this one. But I'm hoping it qualifies at least. Any final thoughts on Finland?
Yeah, I have to agree, to be quite honest. Like, I can't really say it's a definite qualifier. I want it to, but I don't think it will. I'm not sure.
I do agree with what you say. If it does qualify, it's not going to come middle of the road. It's coming ridiculously high or ridiculously low. It's just it's one of those ones you cannot predict.
No, and it's just
when it gets to a final.
No, and it just has no middle ground as a song either. So it's a wait and see game for Finland, unfortunately. Moving on, song 8 is Azerbaijan, and they will be represented by Dihaj and the song Skeletons.
Never been so ready. Have my skeleton.
Euan, let's come to you first. She was internally selected. It got quite a good reception when it was first announced. How do you feel about it as a song?
Well, as you've said, it got a great reception when it was announced. I thought that was really overhyped, if I'm honest. I do like the song, but I really dislike the fact that I like it. It's really not very well put together, but it's catchy, which is annoying. And the fact that so many people are now realizing that this late on that they had no idea what she was singing and it was their favorite kind of says a lot. I like it, but I hope it doesn't qualify. It's just there's better quality songs this year that should be going through, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. I think a lot of that reception was because a lot of people have said this is quite an old-fashioned year, there's too many ballads, blah-de-blah-de-blah. I disagree with that statement, but that's just me, and it's quite a modern-sounding song from a composition point of view. But yeah, I didn't understand that chorus at all until I googled the lyrics last week. I didn't realise one of the lines was, have my lungs, have my millions. I thought she was singing, I'm a skeletons, like everyone else thought. And, that is a problem, that, broken English is a problem in songs, I feel, and it could hurt Dihaj. I'm not sure. As a song, I do enjoy it, but it is a little weird as well. Like, I don't really get what the message of the song is as well. It just kind of let's go with this, let's throw this in, let's throw that in. So it's a little confusing, and I'm not sure really. It's okay. I enjoy it. I think it'll qualify. But part of me's thinking that it's just because that is Azerbaijan and they have qualified with worse songs from them. So I don't see how this one wouldn't qualify. If it makes the final, I'm expecting another mid-table finish for them because this is not like what they used to send. This is not like 2009. This isn't like, 2013. And that's a shame because Azerbaijan used to be one of the staples of consistent Eurovision entries in the last few years. It's just been a bit meh. And this is better, but it's still not what I'm used to from Azerbaijan. That's a bit of a shame for me. Emily.
I'm going to be really controversial and disagree with everything you've both just said.
There has to be one.
I understand where you're coming from. But for me, I really like it, despite the fact that, her English isn't the best, but it could be improved upon, by the time it gets to the competition, maybe. But I don't know what it is. I think it's just because it is sort of different to what Azerbaijan usually do. And for me, it is one of their best entries for quite a few years, in my opinion. I don't know. I really don't know why I like it so much. I think it's just so catchy and it's so modern. And the thing I do agree on is that it's going to qualify. Because, it's Azerbaijan. And I think, although her English isn't the best, I think people will find it catchy on the night and they will be like, actually, this is quite a good song. Even if I don't understand what she's saying, I'm going to vote for it.
But isn't that a slight worry then, that it's a song in English, you can't understand what she's saying, but you still vote for it. Is that... I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, to be honest. And my main issue is Azerbaijan always have really bizarre staging which doesn't fit their song. Like 2014, 2015 and 2016. There's been no consistency.
All of those fit the songs. They were out there, but they fit the song. I mean, if you're thinking about this there, 2013 maybe.
I don't see how a woman doing gymnastics above Delaria fitted the song, but well, it didn't fit for me. To be honest, I felt like it wasn't how I would have staged it. Let's go with that. And I feel like this is going to have some very dramatic staging, very out there staging, because Dihaj comes across like a very experimental and out there artist. So that will be interesting to watch, if nothing else. But like I said, it's qualifying, but I'm expecting mid-table for it on the night in the end.
Can I just say what point I missed out? I am very happy that Azerbaijan have went for something more experimental this year, because even though I do like a lot of their past entries for being traditionally Eurovision, this one standing out so much and being so edgy, for lack of a better word, makes me really happy. Maybe next year in Azeri.
Any final points on Azerbaijan? I'll take that as a no. Sweet. Silence. Song 9 and closing out the first half of the first semi-final is Portugal, and it is sung by Salvador Sobral, and the song is Amar, Pelos, Dois, which is love for both.
Desde ti só existi, cansado e sem nada para dar. Meu bem, ouve as minhas preces, peço que regresses, que me voltes a querer.
He won't be at the first few rehearsals due to health reasons. He won't be there until the final rehearsal is come out. But that aside, Emily, I know you were a big fan of the song when it got released. Are you still a big fan of Salvador now?
I'm probably not as much because I've listened to it so many times now. I think it's sort of wearing out on me. But obviously, first time I listened to it, I nearly cried. It was so emotional, honestly. It just, for now, obviously, I've listened to it so many times. I think the novelty's worn off a little bit on me. But for the people that will hear it the first time, maybe they will feel the same way as I did the first time as well. It is quite an emotional song. People do think it's boring. I didn't think it was boring. And I also think it has an advantage because it is the only non-English song, I think, in the first semi-final. So it has that advantage. And obviously it depends on what they do with the staging as well. If it's similar to the national final, he'll just be standing there. So the fact that he's not in for the rehearsals shouldn't matter too much if they do keep the same staging and he's just still standing still. But yeah, I'm really hoping it'll qualify because it's different, it's in Portuguese, and it's just so lovely.
Euan, what do you want to say?
Well, just quickly going off the point you said, the fact that it might stand out because it's the only song not entirely in English. In 2014, there was Susie, and it didn't really help Air Tua's chances. Like, I don't want to have angry Salvadorable fans attacking me, but it's just boring. I'm one of the biggest fans of the 50s and 60s contest you will meet, but it's just... And people say, oh, it's so great, we're going back to it, but it's not. Those were the worst entries. The entries like that were some of the worst of those types of contests. It's really dull. I can't really put much more thought into it. It just doesn't move. I just don't find it moving at all. Don't hate me, Emily.
My heart hurts.
Well, I'm going to agree with one of you, and that is Euan. I do find this song really dull, and I forget it. I mean, the opening of the song is absolutely beautiful with the strings and the violin. That's great. I love that beginning. But when you say it's about like a 50s and 60s sort of song, the first thing I think about 50s and 60s Eurovision is Volare, and this is nowhere near as good as that song, just going on a reference. I mean, yeah, it's sweet, yeah, it's cute, yeah, his little quirks when you stand there and his little, things is adorable, but at the end of the day, it is a song contest, and this song is rather dull, it is rather forgettable for me, and I forget it's there. And I feel like in this semi-final there is a lot of big, loud songs, and like it'll get drowned out. And I know people are saying, "Oh, but the contrast might help it." I don't think it will, and I don't expect this to qualify, regardless of how popular it is and how like the bookies are like putting it up. I just don't see it happening. If he does qualify, well done to him and well done to Portugal. But I personally just can't see it, and I personally don't want it in the final, because then I feel like a song that I would want in there from the semi-final would miss out, and I would be a bit upset about that. But I've been proven wrong in the past, and I could be proven wrong again. Yes, more than once, i.e. last year with Iceland. But moving off that. No, it's not for me. I commend what Portugal are doing. It's a decent entry on their return. Like I said, people actually like the Portuguese entry, which is very rare. But I just don't see it qualifying, unfortunately. Sorry, Emily.
I'm crying.
Just going off your point about the 60s and the 50s and 60s, I wouldn't really compare it to something like Volare, because Volare is a big, energetic song. It's like you'd more compare Volare to Occidentalis Karma. I would compare it to something like L'amour est bleu, which is sweet and soft, but still manages to move and make you smile, while Amar, Pelos, Dois just sets me to sleep.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna get punched by Emily, aren't I?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right, song 10 in this first semi-final is Greece, and they're being represented by Demy, and This Is Love.
Forever and ever and ever and ever, I'm not giving up. This is love, reaching out for the stars. You and me as one, everywhere. This is love.
Euan, do you want to start on this entry?
It's just trash. It's 62 years of Eurovision trash bottled into one brilliantly trashy entry, and I just love it. I mean, that's really just all I've got to say. Is just building on the fact that it's just Eurovision trash. It's what the contest should have. There should be at least 6 entries each year reserved to trash. That's just what makes Eurovision Eurovision. Eurovision with only 1 or 2 genres, or all serious or all upbeat, is just terrible. But it needs the trashy songs like this. And Greece, which is one of my favourite countries in the contest history, has brought it this year. I really think it's going to qualify. It makes up for them not qualifying last year, which was just disgraceful, and their recent disgraceful results. This is just perfect. I love it.
I'll jump
in.
in.
You see the disappointment in Emily's eyes.
Well, I'll jump in to give her more disappointment, because when this got selected, I wasn't a big fan. I felt like they had wasted Demy's potential a bit, especially when you saw who did write these songs, but the other 2 songs were worse, so the best song did win. But this is sailing through without a shadow of a doubt, because there's nothing really else like it in the semi-final, apart from Montenegro slightly, but it's going to stand out. It's what the casual on the night voter will vote for, because, hey, that's what we know Eurovision to be. loud trash, because that's what it is, let's be honest. Obviously, the staging will be impressive because of who's working on it. In the final, I don't think the juries are going to mark it that high, but I can expect it getting a good public response. So I'm still expecting a decent result for Greece, maybe like 15th or a bit higher, which, considering they didn't qualify last year, I think is very, very good, to be honest. But yeah, it's grown on me, actually. When I first heard it, I wasn't a big fan. I really like it now. They have got rid of the rain falls from above lyric, which is pretty decent because that was some terrible rhyming. But yeah, all things considered, it's not the best song Demy could have had, but it's still not absolutely terrible. And I probably will enjoy it on the night, and it will qualify, and I get to enjoy it again on the Saturday night. Go on, Emily. Rain on our parade.
Can I just make one quick point before? How the hell do you think this sounds like Montenegro?
Loud, camp, disco, trashy. I know it's like different sport, like forks of it, but when you think about like typical Eurovision songs, they are the two that fit that box this year.
Weird association, but okay.
Okay, so I don't really like it, like, at all. It's really disappointing for me because I do usually quite like Greece, but they've gone really quite downhill recently, and to be honest, I think I prefer Utopian Land to this song. But I do think it will qualify, but when it comes to the final, I do not think they will do well. Or if they do, I think maybe like 20th, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just not very hopeful for it right now. I think it's an okay song, but I think the main part of it will be what they pull out on the stage, because it does have some sort of like dancey sort of backing track to it. So I think they could pull off some really cool choreography or something like that that will make it more memorable. But when I listen to it, it's, I don't know, it's sort of average to me. Yeah, that's about it really. It's all right.
I just can't believe you prefer this to Utopian Land, to be honest. Because you really don't prefer this because you really did not like that song last year. I know
it's grown on me.
Has no taste.
It's great.
I mean, our favourite in 2013 was Only Teardrops. That's really saying something.
What, the winner?
Yeah, the one that won. The one that Europe agreed on. All I will say...
Okay.
Now. Your favourite one in 2015, you got yours back. We're happy? All I will say is that if this is drawn in the first half, I think this will probably open the final if it's in the first half. I would expect this song to open. Because I don't really see what else could. But that depends if it gets drawn in the first half or not, so we'll see. But yeah, definitely qualifying, I feel, in the final. Mid-table, but... Hey, at least Greece are back in the final. Right. Any last points on Greece?
Utopian Land was robbed.
Anyway, before a fight breaks out, song 11 is Poland, and they'll be represented by Kasia and the song Flaslight.
The colder dogs have got them hypnotized. We'll never catch us, take us by surprise. We're running faster at the speed of light. Falling deeper, got you in the side. Bringing down your eyes in the sky.
I'll kickstart this. It's a bit meh for me. I mean, she comes across as a lovely woman. I've seen her in interviews and on events and all this, and she comes across lovely, and her voice is pretty good. But the song just doesn't really go anywhere for me. I'm waiting for it to go somewhere, and it never does, and it just kind of goes along, and before I know it, the song's over. And it just doesn't, like, stay in my head after. It's like, I can't tell you what the melody is. I don't really remember, like, what the lyrics are either. And it's a shame because Poland have, done well. They've sent some pretty good entries recently. I can't just, like, half expect us to qualify just going on the whole diaspora vote and, the United Kingdom are in the semi-final and, Poland always do well from the United Kingdom regardless. But it's not in my top 10 to qualify. I expect it to qualify, though. But, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it in the national final, and I'm not a big fan of it now, unfortunately. But the jury seemed to love it in Poland and gave it, all their full marks, so I'm clearly missing something. I'm hoping one of you could tell me that. Euan, can you help? Because I'm clearly missing something.
I honestly don't know. If I'm honest, I can't remember the song.
I think that says it all, to be honest.
Like, whenever I listen to it... No, sorry. I remember that whenever I listen to it, I like it. But I just can't remember the song itself. Of all the songs this year, I can't remember it at all. It's the only one. I think it does have something to do with the fact that it is the slowest beats per minute song this year. It's forgetful, but lovely. She's a lovely person. Got a great voice.
Yeah,
Just...
and I know what you mean. Like, I was thinking the same thing. She's so lovely. I met her at the London Eurovision party. She's so nice to talk to. She's so lovely. Her voice is absolutely amazing. Like, she has such a lovely voice, but I think the song's wasted on her, or she's wasted on the song. Whichever way around that's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, basically, she's better than the song. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to be, dark and mysterious. But as Elliot said, like, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just sort of the same thing throughout. And as Euan said, it's not that memorable. I agree with both of you on this one for once. I don't know. It's good when you listen to it, and she does have a nice voice. But after that, just probably won't remember it, and that could really, ruin the chances of qualifying. But I think if it does qualify, it will maybe 9th or 10th place, maybe. I don't know. Too early to predict, I suppose. But song-wise, it's all right.
All I know is that she said the staging is changing from the national final, which we'll see, so you won't have photos of her in the backdrop, but in that national final, they didn't really have much to work with, so I always expected it to change. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere, and if it does qualify, I know I said this about one or two other songs, I feel like this sort of song will just be a throwaway song, like in the running order, they'll put it next to a big song, like a fan favourite, so to speak, like I could see it going next to, like, Italy or something, and then all traction it would have would just be lost from that. So
she would deserve all of Italy's points, though.
But yeah, I think it'll qualify, but that's purely because Poland always seems to get, since they've come back, they've always qualified, and that is largely down to their diaspora vote. I mean, you look at the final last year, Mikkel Spack came third in the televote in the final, and sorry, as good as that song was, I didn't have it third with the public. Maybe the other way round, but I think it will qualify, but then it's not looking at like a great result for it. And I do feel like this is a song where if the UK don't finish above it, it's the sort of song I will look at and just kind of go, how? Because, side note, I think the UK deserves to finish higher than Poland, because the UK deserve a good result this year, and I'm not just saying that because I'm from the UK. It's because we actually have a good song this year, sung well. But anyway, moving on. Right, I would say any final points, but I think we said all we can physically say about Poland.
Well, actually, I do just have one final point. As undeserving it is just because how lovely she is and how amazing her voice is, I seriously think this is a contender for last place.
No.
And I was in the whole show rather than just the semi-final.
Oh wow. Oh, I don't know. To be honest, this semi-final is quite close with quite a lot of countries. It could be. It's not what I think will come last, but I can see your point as to why it would. Right.
It's a very competitive, loud semi-final.
And
Even when looking at a jury. Sorry, even with a jury lens looking at it, I still get lost.
Yeah, I think it's like there's too many like similar female slow tempo songs for her to fight against. You know, she's got Georgia, Albania, Finland, and that's just from a jury alone. Czech Republic. They're all going to be fighting for the jury vote more than anything.
I mean, I say this, but then she could come on with 2 minutes of pyro and fire and probably win the semi-final.
You never know.
Let's face it, it's 2017.
True.
No one knows what's going to happen.
Just a 3-minute pyro curtain, that'll do it. Now to the last song for debate today. It's song 12, which is Moldova and a returning act to your SunStroke project, and they sing the song Hey Mama.
And I say, Mama, Mama, don't be so down. I'm not that abundant boy. Mama, Mama, don't be so down. All it keeps going round and round. Mama, Mama, don't be so mad. If you knew me, you'd be surprised. Mama, Mama, don't be so mad. She'll be back home till sunrise.
Like, I can't really put it in my top because I don't like doing numbers, but basically it's probably in my top 5. And I haven't really seen many other people place it so high, and I think that people should place it higher because it's so good, it's so catchy, and to be honest, who doesn't love Epic Sax Guy? I'm sure the casual viewers will maybe remember him either from Eurovision or as a meme himself, because he did become a meme after the contest. So that's one thing. Another thing is that I think it's better than what Runaway was. They've got some really cool choreography as well. I don't really know, like in the national final, I don't understand why they were wearing wedding costumes, like wedding suits and dresses, but it might be something to do with the lyrics. I don't know.
I thought the whole point of the song is they're trying to win over the support of the bride's mother.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that because of the music video, she's trying to win over that, and combined with the national final.
Yes, and like.
But then again, it might just trying to win over because we've seen the end of the music video.
That makes more sense now. It proves how much I've paid attention to lyrics and music videos. I just listen to the song, and if I like it, I like it. But yeah, actually, no, that does make more sense now. I'm assuming that they'll probably have the same sort of thing for Eurovision, maybe not. We don't know yet. But yeah, definite qualifier. I think there's no way I cannot see it not qualifying personally. But yeah, I love it.
You agree or disagree with Emily? I feel like this is going to be quite polarising.
Well, I just have 2 points to come off for Emily. 3 actually. First, the wrong person from 2010 came back. It should have been Oliatira. Second, I hate Epic Sax Guy, and I hate Epic Sax Guy. And third, it's my joint favourite this year, so I don't get where you're saying no one likes it.
I didn't know. Okay, I'm happy now.
What I can see acting quite badly for the song is the singer. His glare. Is that a good way to put it? I think we might have a Yuri stare moment this year. Because we all know just how off-putting and song-destroying that glare was. I do love the song, though. They perfected the saxophone in this after the mistakes of 2010. I really do hope it qualifies. Because if it does, it's going top 5. Just for ridiculous. Just because it's Eurovision trash, which there should be Eurovision trash.
This needs to be in the final, I'll say that now, because everyone needs to enjoy this song because it is brilliant. Like, they're having a great time on stage, you're having a great time at home, like, dancing along. I love the staging of the national final, actually. I thought that was actually quite different and clever. I mean, you know, the wedding dresses were a bit bizarre, but it makes it memorable, because you go, hey, that was in wedding suits and wedding dresses. It's just so much fun and so catchy and gets in your head. It's brilliant, but I feel like the jury are going to absolutely destroy any chance this has unless the public get really behind this song. Because they didn't do well in 2010 with the jury in either, and I feel like it's going to happen again, but it could just be so fun and, oh my god, this is amazing for people to vote for it and get it through. I really hope it's in the final. I'm scared it might miss out, to be honest, but it needs to be in the final. I want this in the final. Moldova have done really well. They did really well last year, in my opinion, as well, but this year everyone seems to enjoy the song this year as well, which is really, really good, because I felt like I was quite alone in supporting Falling Stars. I mean, I know it had some fans, but quite a lot of people were, like, kind of writing it off. Yeah, I know. I said I felt quite alone. I didn't say I was the only one. I know there were some fans like me, but the majority were like, oh no, Lydia's not that good. She's not going to qualify. And I was like, this is amazing. Leave her alone. But like, although they've gone back to what made me love them. Just carefree, fun acts, having fun, not really caring to an extent. And yeah, I just want this in the final. I need this in the final. And if it does make the final, it deserves a decent result. It doesn't deserve to be near the bottom, because it's brilliant and amazing. And it's just so catchy. Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. Cool. Any final points on Moldova?
Yes, Queen Slayer.
Yes, Saxley.
Jesus Christ. I'm impressed with that, Euan. I'm rather impressed. And on that note, they are the 6 songs that we were reviewing today. We've only got one more left of the first semi-final, and next time that'll be Iceland, Czech Republic, Cyprus, Armenia, Slovenia, and Latvia. Agree or disagree with anything that we've said, make sure you let us know. Big thank you to Euan and Emily for appearing on this with us as well. And make sure you check them out at Eurovoix.com and Facebook and Twitter, and where they are updating their site and their social medias. Probably like every 3 hours, it seems, at the minute. So make sure you check those guys out. And thank you for listening. And
I can't believe you forgot Instagram.
And Instagram as well, I'm sorry. Basically, if there's a social media, they'll be on it, as of us. So make sure you check them out as well. Thank you guys, and we shall be back next time for the final 6 songs of semi-final 1.